Hi. So I'm going to do this so the people that get my knives understand how they're made and how to care for them also. We'll get to that later on. I set up a nice little shop in the garage, as you can see, making kitchen knives basically. And it's out of Owen tool steel, so it's a high carbon steel, and it's going to need some special care, meaning that you'll have to wipe it off, dry it after you use it so it doesn't rust. I use all wood handles, so they're going to have to be kept dry and oiled also over time. But you'll find that they will take the finest edge you could possibly find on any knife. They'll really take a beautiful sharp edge, and they'll hold it for a good long time. And it will be easy to sharpen also when the time comes. So I never thought I would be on YouTube. But it's a good way to get out and see everybody and communicate with people. So as we go along, we'll continue to give you information about it. I'd like to show you the process of how the knife's made. So here's one that's been finished. So this one has a teak handle. It's sharpened. Oops. It's a little 4 and this one's a 4 3/4 blade, 4 3/4 inch blade. So right after this, these were finally done. I pulled out a whole bunch of 6-inch, 8-inch chef knives. A regular belly chef knife, an 8-inch, and a deep chef knife also. And we're thinking those might have bolsters also, some brass bolsters and brass pins, which should make it a little bit easier to care for, or at least be able to be used in a commercial situation also. Still needing some care though. Okay. So as I go along, let me show you how we start and how we get along. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so might as well do it now. This is the steel, how I get it. This is the bar stock that the knives are made out of. This one is 01 tool steel. It's 1/30,000th inch. Happens to be 2 inches wide, and this one came 36 inches long, and you can see that a knife shape, something was cut out of here. But that's it. It comes rough from the factory, so it has to be surfaced also and thinned down where needed. You can actually hopefully see the difference there. After this, they're cut out to shape, which looks like this. Looks like this. And it gets a preliminary grinding on it, and then it goes to heat treat. You can't take a knife to this level and then send it to heat treat, otherwise it will warp, and what you're looking for is a perfectly straight knife. You don't want any warps, bows, or turns in it, although in heat treat there's always a little bit. So when I heat treat them, they're not the final shape, or they're the final shape, but they're not the final thickness, they're not ground. So they get a preliminary grinding that looks like this. So we mark the center of the piece of metal, and we grind a little bit to it, take off that edge, and then we start grinding it to thickness. So you can see that this one has quite a ways to go. What I like to do is put a taper into the handle if it's a smaller knife, like this one. So it eliminates a lot of weight and helps balance out the blade. So we're going to add scales to it, which are the wood pieces for the handles, or it could be synthetic pieces for the handles. So this will actually get a little bit more grinding. It'll get surfacing, everything will get smoothed off, it will be sanded down to 120 grit. Okay. And then so this is a 6-inch sheaf that basically just has the holes drilled in it, the edges broken off to it, and then it still needs a lot of grinding, and then it can go to heat treat. And then after we get it back from heat treat, we start grinding on it. So this one is taken down to 80 here and 120 here so far. So then everything starts getting smoothed out, and the edge, as you can see, starts taking shape. So this is now hardened. We can put an edge on it and it'll be a functioning knife. Whereas this is very soft. It's annealed steel, and it won't hold an edge at all. So this is on its way to being a knife. It's actually rather close. So after this, I'll take this down to probably 400 on the grinder, and then actually a grinder, just so you know, is a 2x72 inch belt sander. If it's used for wood, it's a sander. If it's used for metal, it's a grinder. And I'll show you that soon also. So this is now up to 120. Next will be 220, 320, and 400. And then it comes over to the bench here, and we start hand sanding. And depending on which knife it is, it'll take it up to 600 or 800. And always after the grinding belts or the sanding belts, we have to step back one step in the sanding. So if I take it up to 400, I'll probably look at it and see if it needs any 320, and then take that up to 800. These are tools. They're not collector pieces. They're not show pieces. So there's no need to take it up to a polish finish. What I'm trying to make are good, functional, strong tools. Happen to be in the kitchen. This is the one that's really not a kitchen knife. It's what's called an EDC, or an everyday carry knife. So it's basically a good utility knife to have with you all the time. And this is mine that I usually carry with me. So it's strong, it has a good stout edge on it, and it can do a lot of things. I've used it on food in restaurants, and I've used it for opening boxes. So just keep it clean and it's fine. But so far, this is the only other knife besides the kitchen knives that I've been making. So I'm trying to stay with kitchen knives, but this is also interesting and also useful, so also a good tool. So I'm making these. So again, this is where it starts, and that's where it ends up. And these are in between. Here's some scales. This is cherry, this is cherry, this is a piece of yew. So after it's ground and polished, like this, everything will be polished. The only thing that won't happen is it won't be sharpened to a finished edge. We'll cut out scales. So you can see this is a match set. So I try to book match every piece of wood if I can, cut it in half and match it up. When they're worked on, the front here is finished as far as it's going to be, because after it's attached onto the knife, you really can't get in there without messing up the metal. So that's the only one that's finished. It's epoxied on, and then there's pins that go through to hold it on to the knife, giving it a mechanical fastener as in addition to the epoxy. And then after that's done, then it gets sharpened and it's all finished. So this gets glued on, pinned on, gets shaped, polished, oiled, and then the final sharpening goes on, and we call it a knife. Okay, so that's a very quick overview of how the knives are produced. It's something that I learned from YouTube, very interestingly. I've spent, I think I started in February, so it's February, March, April, May, June, 5 months using all my free time watching every video on YouTube. So I would say I'm an expert at knife making. I don't forge. It's called stock removal, what I do. So this steel has been produced and it's at its finest condition right now. I don't bend. The only time you would forge for me would be if you're doing curves, if you're doing angles, or if you're doing Damascus, and I don't do either. So I do the stock removal, grinding it down, and heat treat it. So the metal that's being used is at its finest out of the forgery, from the factory, from the metal producer, and we keep it there and try to get the optimal hardness and temper out of it by the heat treating. Heat treating is incredibly important. So you have the shapes, you have the angles of the knife, but the heat treating is really important. So for now, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll come back and show you in the future actually working on them. Thanks, bye.